You're chatting with a friend about planning a vacation, just a casual conversation. A few hours later, your phone is flooded with ads for flights, hotels, travel packages, you name it. You didn't search for anything, so how do they know? It's not just ads, it's your personal details, your habits, even your private messages. They're all being used without your consent. Personal information has become the hottest commodity. Every click, every like, every scroll, it's all being logged, analyzed, and sold, often without your knowledge or consent. Enter the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, a powerful shield designed to protect you in this wild west of the internet. So what exactly is this almighty regulation, and why do companies hate it? GDPR is a law passed by the European Union in 2016, but it didn't fully come into effect until May 2018. Why was it created? Simple, to tackle the growing misuse of personal data in the digital age. At its core, GDPR is all about two things: protection and empowerment. First, it protects your personal data, everything from your name, email address, and phone number, to more sensitive information like your location, health records, and even your online habits. Second, it gives you clear rights over this data, ensuring that companies can no longer treat your information like their personal goldmine without your knowledge or consent. GDPR is designed to protect EU citizens and residents, but it applies to any company that collects, processes, or stores their data, whether that company is based in the EU or halfway across the globe. This means that if you're a non-EU business handling data from EU users, you're still bound by GDPR's rules. Even countries like the United States, which don't have federal laws as comprehensive as GDPR, are seeing its ripple effects in laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA. This regulation has had a profound effect on companies worldwide, especially those relying on targeted advertising. With users more likely to withhold consent for data collection, companies have seen a significant reduction in the availability of valuable data, leading to noticeable drops in ad revenue. For companies like social media platforms and ad tech giants, GDPR is more than just a legal hurdle. It's a challenge to their entire business model. So what are some rights that you have as an individual under GDPR? First, the right to be informed. Transparency is at the heart of GDPR. You have the right to know how your personal data is being collected, used, and shared right from the start. Companies must provide clear, concise information about what data they're collecting and why, usually through privacy policies or consent pop-ups. No more vague or hidden items. GDPR makes it mandatory for companies to keep you fully informed. Next is the right to access. GDPR gives you the power to know exactly what data a company has about you and how they're using it. You can file a request called a Data Subject Access Request, or DSAR, and the company must provide a detailed report. For example, if you ask a social media platform what data they've collected, they're legally required to show you everything from your posts to the metadata behind your interactions. Next is the right to rectification. If the data a company has about you is incomplete or incorrect, you can demand that they fix it. Whether it's your name, address, or any other information, GDPR ensures your data remains accurate and up to date. The right to erasure, or the right to be forgotten. One of the most empowering aspects of GDPR is your right to delete your data. If you decide you no longer want a company to have your personal information, say a social media account you stopped using years ago, you can request for all of your data to be erased, as long as there's no legal reason for them to keep it. The right to restrict processing. Let's say you don't want your data deleted, but you also don't want it to be used actively. GDPR allows you to restrict how a company processes your information. For instance, you can pause the use of your data for marketing while still keeping it for billing purposes. Many businesses rely on highly personalized data to drive targeted advertising campaigns. When users restrict how their data is processed, it reduces the ability to optimize those ads, resulting in lower click-through rates and ultimately a loss in ad revenue. For companies dependent on data-driven ads, GDPR is like hitting the brakes on their revenue streams. The right to data portability. Imagine switching from one music streaming service to another. With GDPR, you can request your data, playlists, preferences, in a machine-readable format and transfer it to a competing service. This gives you control over your data, and it removes any unnecessary barriers. The right to object. You have the right to say no to your data being used for certain purposes, like direct marketing. And once you object, the company must stop using your data unless they have compelling legal reasons to continue. If a company uses algorithms to make decisions that significantly affect you, like approving a loan or offering a job, you have the right to request human intervention and challenge the outcome. GDPR ensures that these automated systems don't operate as unchecked black boxes. Now that you're familiar with your rights under GDPR, let's talk about how you can actively use them to safeguard your personal data. It starts with knowing how to engage with the companies handling your information. If you're curious about what a company knows about you, or you want to have that data erased, you can make a data subject access request, or a DSAR. The first step is to identify the company in question. This usually involves finding their privacy policy, which is typically linked on their website, and within that privacy policy, you'll find instructions on how to contact the company's data protection officer, or whichever department is responsible for handling data requests. Once you've located the correct contact information, write a clear request. For example, if you want to access your data, simply ask for a full record of all personal information that they have about you under GDPR. Now, if you're seeking deletion, state that you're exercising your right to erasure and request that all personal data be permanently removed from their systems. Companies may ask for proof of identity to ensure your data isn't shared or altered by an unauthorized person, so be ready to provide a copy of your ID if it's needed. GDPR requires companies to respond to your request within 30 days. If they don't, or if their response seems incomplete, you have the right to escalate the issue to your country's data protection authority, which ensures GDPR is being enforced. Persistence is key. Don't hesitate to follow up if necessary. Not all businesses are equally diligent when it comes to GDPR compliance, but there are telltale signs of companies that take your data protection seriously. A major indicator is their privacy policy. A GDPR-compliant privacy policy is transparent and user-friendly. It clearly explains what data the company collects, why they collect it, how they plan to use it, and what rights you have as a user. If the policy feels vague, overly complicated, hard to find, that's a red flag. Another sign of a GDPR-conscious company is whether they offer tools to help you manage your data. Companies like Google and Facebook have introduced features that allow users to download their private data, delete accounts, or adjust privacy settings directly from their platform. These tools are not just helpful, they're a sign that the company is putting effort into compliance and making data management accessible for users. Even those cookie consent pop-ups, which can feel like an endless annoyance, are part of GDPR's transparency requirement. When a company explains what cookies they're using and gives you options to accept or reject those cookies, it shows they're respecting your choices. So next time you see one of those pop-ups, don't dismiss it as just another click-through annoyance. Take a moment to read it and make an informed decision. We also made a video explaining how cookies work, and you can check that video out here. One of the most notable examples of GDPR's enforcement is the €50 million fine imposed on Google in 2019 by France's data protection authority, CNIL. The fine was issued because Google failed to provide users with clear, transparent information about how their personal data was being collected and used for personalized ads. Instead, key details were buried in lengthy terms and conditions, making it nearly impossible for users to make informed decisions about their privacy. Google also failed to properly obtain users' explicit consent, a cornerstone of GDPR. This case also brought attention to the right to be forgotten, one of GDPR's most empowering provisions. Individuals have the right to request that outdated or irrelevant information about them be removed from search engine results. Google's inadequate systems for handling such requests were highlighted in this case, further underscoring the need for companies to respect and facilitate users' right to control their digital presence. The enforcement of this fine sent a powerful message. GDPR isn't just about creating rules. It's about holding companies accountable and ensuring individuals have real control over their personalized data. It also encouraged businesses worldwide to prioritize transparency, implement robust data management systems, and make the right to be forgotten a standard part of their operations. GDPR represents a turning point in the way personal data is managed and protected in the digital age. It has empowered individuals with rights to ensure greater transparency and control while holding businesses accountable for how they handle personal information. From allowing users to request their data to enforcing the right to be forgotten, GDPR is more than just a law. It's a global standard for privacy that has reshaped the digital landscape. While it's far from perfect, the impact is undeniable, encouraging businesses and individuals alike to prioritize data protection. If you're looking to dive deeper into topics like this, or preparing for certifications like the CISSP, head over to our site at deskcert.com for in-depth training and resources. Until next time, stay secure, and may your data always stay protected.